stay-at-home mom doing your womanly duties, you know? But when men do it, it's this like odyssey, it's this accomplishment, it's this like achievement. Like, why are they so fucking annoying and so devoid of empathy and so devoid of actual leadership traits and so devoid of responsibility and so devoid of good faith cooperation with women or children? Yeah, I don't know. This is just why you should never have kids with or for a man. We say this all the time on the podcast. Mama's baby, dad.
And here we go. That right there will tell you everything you need to know. So I found the woman version of the red pill. Here we have a YouTuber by the name of YV Edit. She has 51,000 subscribers, and in her bio it says simply, for women. She's a feminist. That's great. I'm a feminist. I truly believe in the equality, true equality between the genders, right? And regardless of what hangs between your legs, too. I don't care what you identify as. I believe we should all treat each other equally, respect each other equally, all that jazz, right? I despise the red pill space, the male red pill space. And so it's interesting to actually stumble across what I could categorize as nothing more than the female red pill space. Let's take a look at some of her video titles. How Kristen Bell cool girled her way into a terrible marriage, when your aesthetic threatens his masculinity, multiple women humiliated at the Oscars by their insecure partners, the sexual abuse pipeline, the SA abuse pipeline. Okay, that seems a little repetitive, but okay. Men don't like the taste of their own medicine. And so this should all be sounding very familiar. White Lotus exposes the truth about men, right? All we have to do is, change the movie title and change this from men to women, and you got your typical red pill, alpha male, fucking sigma male, black pill YouTube video. Well, it feels like this is the opposite here. Anyway, what brought me to her channel was this video, okay? Man forced to babysit his own children has total meltdown. YV Edit. And what I want to do is respond to what she's saying here, because I think that she is making the same mistake that a lot of red pill guys do, which is project all of this malice and ill intent onto the opposite sex that really isn't there, right? Just as a woman who cares about how much her partner makes doesn't automatically make her a gold digger. I feel like she's doing the same thing to men. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So the title she has on the screen, man with 2 children discovers parenting for the first time. She's going to go over all these texts one by one. Don't worry. What we're seeing is a text exchange between a man and his wife, not her.
And I actually have time today, so we're gonna go through every single text. Starting off real strong with this gem: if you died, we'd die within 2 weeks. Couple things to address here. That's a really weird and unsettling and gross thing to say.
Wow.
Like, you are telling on
that's intense.
Yourself so much more than you think as a human being. This is a huge reason why I'm constantly saying that men are not leaders. Like, this man is literally telling you that he would just roll over and unalive.
Okay, so first and foremost, men aren't leaders because of the actions of one man. Starting to see some similarities to the male red pill. Take an example of one woman doing one thing, demonize the whole gender. But even putting that to the side, We have no idea the context of this text. He says, if you died, we'd die within 2 weeks. Ha ha. Ha ha. It sounds like he's cracking a joke here. Clearly, the woman who initially posted this, she seems to really be into her family and loves her family. This is the guy right here and the wife and the 2 kids. Something tells me when she posted this initially, she didn't post it with a sense of malice against her husband. Yet that's how this woman is interpreting it. We don't know what the other texts said prior to this. He could just be joking around. He's calling attention to the fact that his wife serves a very important purpose in the relationship. I'm married. I have 3 kids, 3, 2, and 1. My wife, she works a very low demanding part-time job. I take care of all the bills, essentially. Okay, we continue.
He would just let your children unalive too, which
Wow.
once you think through like all the logical steps of this, like he's basically just saying that I wouldn't be responsible for feeding myself or these children or ensuring any of our basic safety needs.
Right. This guy right here. This is the kind of guy that if his wife were to die or disappear, he would allow both himself and his 2 sons and his dog probably to just die. Right.
All we rely
It's crazy, but that's how she's interpreting this.
on you for all of that. So if you go, we go. It's basically like a threat wrapped in a compliment.
threat,
Just so
wow.
you know, this is what would happen if you ever decided to like leave, or if you needed like 2 weeks of like vacation or go on a business trip or something like that. I would neglect our children so bad, and possibly myself so bad, that you would come home to a bunch of corpses. Like, that's fucking bleak. Like, that's dark.
There is no world where my wife takes a 2-week vacation from her job. There's just no world where she gets to do that, because I don't get to take a 2-week vacation from my job. We can take a vacation together, but right, if we have a monthly budget and I got to come up with that money, I don't get to just be like, I don't got half of it. Sorry. Vacation. That it would be the equivalent of my wife saying, I just don't want to do my job for 2 weeks, which is take care of the children and do, the shit she agreed to do before we ever had kids and got married, right? We said we were going to divvy up the workload this way. I'll work, I'll provide, I'll protect, and I'll help, and I do help and am involved, but you're going to do the majority of the caretaking, especially while they're small before they go to school. Right? Okay. All right.
You do not deserve the title of like leader, father,
Wow.
husband, anything, because you are a useless piece of shit. Congratulations. Like, what the fuck? How is this supposed to be? It's like I said, it's a compliment wrapped in a threat. And don't really mean this when they say it. What they mean is they would find another woman within 2 weeks to take care of your children that they don't want to take care of, and then to cook for them and clean for them and do their laundry and all that.
Yeah, it's crazy that this is how some women really think. This is insane to me.
Stuff. Like, that's what he means. And like, I don't need to prove that this is true to anybody, because we all know that it's true. Men get remarried very quickly, typically after their wives pass away or even after just a divorce. They don't take any time to work on themselves. They don't take any time to become a better human being, to ensure that their kids have at least one parent that can like take care of them. They don't care about any of that stuff. They just care about, I don't want to.
All right. So you wouldn't consider 2 to 3 years some amount of time? Because that's how long it takes for the average man to remarry. 2 to 3 years, with the average being 3 years. Women, it's 4 to 5. So a little bit longer, not that much longer, right? You and your wife split up, you get married 2 to 3 years from now, more than likely a year or 2 after you get married, she'll be getting married. And I've seen that actually play out exactly like that many times. Man gets married, year or 2 later, woman gets married. But you said, oh, he's not going to take the time to make sure there's someone there to take care of them. Well, isn't that in part what he accomplishes by getting remarried? You know, he has some more support in the house to help with the children, someone with a feminine energy to counterbalance his masculine male energy. Okay.
Do the hard work that it takes to like raise up children and take care of a household. So I just won't do it.
What do you call paying for everything? If I don't pay for everything, you don't even have a household to take care of.
And again, that's a threat to you. We'll go through these like little ones kind of quickly, but it's just so annoying that he was like texting her these dumb updates like, oh, a kid is screaming. Like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. What the fuck else is new? Kids are gonna scream. Is this supposed to be like?
Have you considered that maybe she asked what so-and-so is doing? Again, she is just the reverse of the male red pill fucking cringe alpha male guy, tough guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just no charitability at all. No wanting to put yourself into the shoes of the man for even a little bit. Maybe she just asked, what is George doing? The children's names, I believe, are George and James, based on the text we've already seen. Maybe she asked, what is James doing right now? And he just replies, screaming.
Like him screaming? I don't know, but either way, kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I doubt this man who, I don't know him, we don't know nothing about him, but we can see from what we've seen here, this is your typical, traditional, probably Christian family. She looks a kind of trad wifey. They're white. Some tells me this isn't the kind of guy that deals with emotional stress by screaming. Yeah.
That a lot of people were like, oh yeah, he's just acknowledging
I've never screamed to release stress. I haven't screamed to release stress since I was maybe like 14 years old, bro. You know.
Hard work. And no, he's making it actually all.
I hear my wife scream every day. On the other hand, oh, a wooden spoon with some potatoes dropped on the floor. Ah! Baby spilt over some water. Ah! I hear screaming not all day, well, almost every day. And that's fine because my wife is a woman. And I feel like as a man, I'm just like okay with that, right?
About himself. Like if he was acknowledging her hard work, he would be saying like, I don't know how you do this. Like, honey, I am starkly aware right now of how weak and
a spider just ran across the floor.
unhelpful of a shrimp I am to this entire household. I'm realizing now I've been a burden on you.
Wow.
And I don't do enough. But instead, he's just sending these annoying ass updates screaming like, okay. And
a burden, she says. A burden. I wonder how she would feel about a man describing his wife and children as burdens because he has to take care of them financially. He has to go to work and make that money and then don't spend that money on himself, but spend it on his wife and his kids. I wonder how she would feel if he described her as a burden. Yet he is a burden. Why? Because she has to do her job. This is her job. This is her job.
What?
She doesn't work more than likely. And if she does work, it's not the kind of job that could sustain the lifestyle that she lives. And so she's doing her job, which is taking care of her kids. Somebody has to do it. The man can't work and take care of the kids at the same time. If we send the kids to daycare, we're just paying somebody else to do what is their job. Now what's your job?
The whole day has been chaos. Like, oh my gosh, God forbid you.
The whole day has been chaos. Yeah, okay. Maybe it has been. Again, she's trying to frame this as if he's just like spamming his wife, just complaining all day. But we can clearly see that there are text messages going back and forth between them. You know? I mean, who's to say we're not blurring out all the text messages where he's, saying shit like, man, baby, I really appreciate you. because I don't know how you do this. Or he's, juggling other things as well, but she's asking for updates on the kids, and he's like, hey, it's been chaos all day. It's been kind of crazy over here.
Your day gets blown up by a bunch of kids. Like, yeah, that's the day she lives every single day. You don't need to tell her this. The fact that he's surprised.
The reality is single fathers have better results with their children than single mothers. That's a reality. I do not believe that a woman can be replaced. Like, it is priceless what both parties bring to the family unit. But any argument you're trying to make that like men are these like useless, incapable, incompetent creatures that just know how to make a bunch of money, as if that's not something very difficult to do, but they just know how to make a bunch of money and pay for everything. But I do all the real hard work, like, grilling chicken, changing diapers. I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's a full-time job. I don't take it for granted. But competency-wise, the point I'm making is if a guy's capable of making $150,000, $200,000 a year and up to be able to retire you, essentially, he can probably handle changing some diapers if he had to do it. You know what I'm saying? It can be overwhelming as a guy if you have to work to take care of the family, and then out of nowhere, you now have to do your wife's job for a day because she never has to do your job all year. All year will go by. You will never ask your wife to do your job, not once. But you have situations like this arise where she, on top of you needing to do your job, you have to also do her job sometimes. And so, yeah, that can be overwhelming to a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience doing that shit. It can be like a lot, But if it was the only thing he had to do, then I'm sure he would be able to manage it, no problem.
It leads me to believe that he's not a very present parent to begin with, or that when he is there, clearly the kids know and have routines with their mom, like she's managing them, she's managing their behavior, so it never even has to affect him like this. But the moment she's out of the picture, everything descends into chaos because he's not normally present otherwise, right? Otherwise, they would just have a normal day. Like the fact that this day is so out of the ordinary for him is like the first thing that gave me the ick.
Well, it's out of the ordinary because usually he's working and paying for everything and making sure the family's okay. You know what I'm saying? Making sure the registration on the car is renewed, making sure the oil is changed in the car, making sure the lawn is mowed, making sure the gutters are clean, the branches on the trees aren't growing too long, the tires aren't bald in, because we know you're going to let the tires bald. You're not going to bring the car to the tire shop and spend $1,000 and replace all the tires, right? And then on top of that, of course, I imagine he does come home and spend some time with the kids and the family. He doesn't just come home, take a shower, and then leave and go hang out with his friends or play video games, or, I'm saying, I'm sure he's there to some degree. But yeah, it's when you're not used to a job. You see, this is how a woman can, she shoots herself in the foot. Because either you're saying that your job is easy and you're really just highlighting how incompetent men are, that is why he's struggling, or, he's like, man, this shit is actually kind of hard to just deal with these kids all day. But that's because men are incompetent because your job is easy. So what the fuck are you actually like saying? Like, why? There's nothing impressive about what you do because your job is easy. Or you acknowledge your job is actually difficult. It's a full-time job. Well, when is it ever rational to throw somebody who doesn't do a type of work full-time, to throw them into the midst of it and be like, I'm sure this isn't going to be stressful at all for you, right? Like, imagine if tomorrow you just like had to show up to a fucking hospital and just do what a nurse does all day, every day. right? You got to just do that tomorrow. It is going to be 10 times more stressful for you than it would be for that nurse because she's used to it. She's been training. She's been building her stamina. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, we're at a point now. My wife's job is incredibly difficult, bro. She takes care of 3 children, 3 and younger, every day, essentially by herself, right? You know, the hands-on thing. She's feeding them, bathing them, clothing them, changing them. I do all these things as well, but not nearly as often as my wife does. Okay. It's difficult. And she does it, from my perspective, with ease. But I can remember when we had our first child and the baby was 4 months old, and I had to help her a lot while still taking care of all the bills by myself. I had to help her a lot. But now she handles 3 with ease. She's built up the stamina. She is a professional mother now. You know, we have friends that only have 1 kid, and they talk about that kid being challenging. I'm like, how? You only got 1. My wife handles 3 by herself, essentially, all day. And you got to help your wife manage 1? Ugh. Sounds like your wife is kind of, you know, not trying that hard. Now, that's not what it is. It's not that they're not trying that hard. Women who manage 1 kid and feel like super stressed out managing that 1 kid, it's not a criticism on them that we can find women who can manage 5 kids by herself. Why? No differently than if a guy only trains, if a guy runs a mile a day every day, it's not like a fair criticism if you ask him to run 5 miles tomorrow. It's like this is not what he's conditioned for. He's used to 1 mile a day. If you gave him the time to work up to 5 miles, eventually he could run 5 miles a day, no problem, right? And so you can't have both. It can't be your job is so easy that's a reflection of the incompetence of a man when he has to do your job for a day, you know, impromptu. And while also wanting to say that your job is so difficult, right? And men are underappreciating how hard it is to be a mother that has to do all of this shit for her children and her husband. You can't have both. Some tells me this woman is neither married, has not been married, nor has children. She doesn't have a wedding ring on. Again, much like the red pillars, right? The red pill men, a bunch of unmarried men with no kids, or if they got kids, they got a baby mama, trying to tell you how to navigate relationships and you know, marriages and all that shit. Ain't that crazy?
Like, those are your kids. They look old enough, like they've been here for years. You
don't even know. You can't even judge how old children are. This is how I know you're not even a mother. So you are literally just the female version of Myron Gaines, essentially. I won't put that on you. Myron is really bad. Myron's also a raging racist. You know what I mean? But you're like in that space. If you had a dick, you'd for sure be a red pill dude. There's no way you think these kids are, you know, of any significant age. This kid is clearly under 1 year old. Clearly. I would have to guess if he's a big boy, he's between 6 months. He looks kind of advanced for 6 months. He's between 7 months and 10 months old. Just by looking at him. Maybe as much as 11. He's not a year old yet. That's clearly not the case. And he might only be looking bigger to me because maybe dad is a short guy. You feel me? By the time my son looked like this in my arms, my son don't look like this in my arms still to this day. I'm 6'5". My son is, you know, 1 and fucking 2 months, right? 14, 15 months, something like that. Anyway, and then this boy right here, he looks like he's probably about 2. He's about 2. He's a little bit less than 1 year old. But yet this woman thinks that these children are like, she's talking like they're 5 and 4. Okay.
It's like all of this is just so icky and frustrating. The screenshot previous to this said George won't nap, and this one says I'm so over him. And to be honest, that's like the only relatable part of the conversation.
Okay, so maybe she does have children. Okay.
But it's also, once again, it's just like, oh my God, fucking figure it out, Jeff. Like, who fucking cares?
Again, context. Is this really just a man bitching out of nowhere? Or is this maybe a situation? This is how I know you're not married. That's for sure. You do not have a healthy relationship with a man that is helping you to take care of your children if you have children, which I still am suspicious that you don't. But, you know, when a woman loves being a mother and a wife, right? It's always difficult. It's a love-hate relationship being a parent. I think both for men and women. You know, they drive you nuts, but there are those moments you just hold them and they put their little head on your shoulder, and you know, they're little and they're cute, and you're like, man, this is the fucking greatest thing in the world. Anyway, if she's normally taking care of the kids like my wife does, I'm telling you, she's constantly thinking about those children, literally. Like, all she wants to do every day of the week is get a break. And the moment she gets a break, all she can do is think about her babies. That is a real wife and mother for you. That's how they are. She's probably asking throughout the day for updates. So, you know, how's the kids? How's the babies? How are the boys? Da, da, da. Especially with boys. I mean, women and their sons, fucking good luck, dude.
If you're over him, I'm sure your wife is over the kids every single day. Like, you probably wouldn't be amused of her texting you a play-by-play like this while you're at work or while you're out golfing with your buddies or shooting or whatever. They're all asleep. I need to decompress. Like, this is literally princess behavior. You're not in princess mode right now, sir. You are in full-on parent mode. What do you mean you need to decompress? Do you see how men are so sensitive to their own needs immediately?
Now, I'll admit, these words would never come out of my fingertips. I would never text any shit like this. This does sound like it got a little extra bitch in it. I ain't gonna lie to you. But, hey, this is that shit we talk about, man. You can't both be complaining about toxic masculinity, but also calling a dude a princess when he acknowledges, hey, you know, today was a very overstimulating day. I feel overwhelmed. I need to relax. They have that kind of communication. I'm not even saying it's bad. You know, shame on me for calling it a little extra bitch. I really shouldn't even say that. This is just how he and his wife communicate, right? Just because I communicate differently with my wife don't mean that it's right or wrong or good or bad. If it works for them, it works for them. And you know what I'm saying? You can never tell how good a family's doing by just looking at a picture. But probably, I imagine, you know, they love each other, but okay.
Like, oh my gosh, I need to decompress. Sir, it hasn't even been a full day. The children are down for a nap. Like, you're not done. You don't get to decompress yet. What do you mean decompress? Are there dishes in the sink that need to be done? Do you need to get started on dinner? Do you need to run a load of laundry? Do you need to call and make some appointments? Fucking get to it. You don't get...
Again, how did you know that he hasn't done all of those things already? You know? Like, me and my wife approach cleaning the house very differently. My wife, she likes to, throughout the day, the house just unravels, right? She takes care of the kids, and she doesn't worry about the toys. She don't worry about the crackers on the ground. She don't worry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can come to my house any time of the day. It's still a clean house. Don't get it twisted. My house is a clean house. My wife is a clean woman. But I'm just saying, like, the toys, the snacks, the papers, the kids are doing arts and crafts, you know what I'm saying, blankets and pillows, and and then once the kids go to bed, or if the kids are taking a nap or are very preoccupied with something, then she'll take that moment and then she'll just clean. And clean. The house is spotless every morning. You wake up, All the dishes are clean. Everything is put away. It's all clean, right? I am very different. I like going throughout the day and doing things, right? Like, so if I have to watch the kids, how I get through it is by doing things constantly with my kids. And so I'll be like, okay, kids, let's clean up all the toys. And so we're cleaning up the toys. All right, help me spread the bed. Spread the bed. Okay, let's take out the trash. That's how I'll get through the day. Maybe it's because I'm a man. We just approach it differently. And so if I had to watch my kids for an entire day, it's not going to get to the end of the day and then I have all this other shit I need to do. It would all be done at the end of the day. Once them kids go to bed, I know I'm good. I wouldn't be surprised if that is also how a lot of other men operate as opposed to how women operate, and why he might be saying this. But again, because we don't see the other text messages here, we don't know.
To decompress yet? What the fuck? Just
also, let's not forget, he's still paying for all the bills, by the way, right?
More random bitch.
The only reason his wife is even doing whatever the fuck it is she's doing is because he's paying for it, more than likely, right? So let's not forget that part.
James will not sleep. It's truly unbelievable. Like, again, tell me that you have no idea what your kids like even do all day. Tell me that you're an absent father without using those exact words. Like, how the fuck is this unbelievable?
Absent father. Could you imagine being called an absent father while you are literally living with your family, taking care of your family all day, every day, right? But check this out. Have you considered for a moment that his wife doesn't have a fucking clue what he does all day? Yeah. Most people who don't do something for a living, because that's essentially what she does for a living, in her taking care of the kids, it gives him the freedom and the ability to be able to just focus on his work throughout the day. In doing so, generating money that she then has full access to. And so it is her job. I assure you, if he sent her to work that day to just do his job, she wouldn't even know how to get shit started. Like, could you imagine? I told my wife, hey, babe, I need a day off. Could you just do the whole YouTube thing for me today? And she had to sit down in this chair and do what I do all day, every day, editing, all. Come on, please. Please, the channel would be getting fucking 100 views by the end of the week per video. Shit, there wouldn't even be no videos. She don't even know how to upload the video to YouTube.
To you.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that he does not understand or appreciate just how demanding it is to do what moms do all day, every day. I've gotten an opportunity to taste that, here and there. Shit is hard. And I tell my wife that every single time. I'm like, this is a full-time job. You should not feel bad at all about not working. If you don't want to work, now I've told you my wife does do, a low demanding, part-time job. I tell her, hey, if you don't want to work at all, though, she does it out by choice. I tell her, if you don't want to work at all, you don't have to, right? Like, you earn not having to work with how much effort you put into taking care of these 3 kids all day. That's a full-time job in of itself. You feel me?
Refuse to go down for sleep and naps all the time. That's like a thing that should not be so unbelievable to you, because the only thing I'm having trouble believing is the fact that you as a father have spent any amount of time around those kids by yourself before, and that's really fucking sad. You don't even deserve that title. Like, you're just like their biological sperm donor at this point, if these things like still surprise you. Oh, and again, I know people are going to be in my comments like, it's not that serious, he's just complaining, he just wants to complain, women do this all the time. It is that serious, because why do we make such light?
That's another thing you're not acknowledging. Women do complain all the time. All the time.
Of men doing this shit, but we fully expect women to just deal with it, to just have all this figured out. With men, it's like cute when they don't have it figured out. They should not be in charge of countries. They can't even be left in charge of children, and we're letting them run entire countries.
Again, statistically, children who are raised by single dads fare better than children who are raised by single mothers. This does not in any way take away from the amazing work that women do, but let's keep grounded in reality here, okay? The kind of guy that can retire his wife, I promise you, is the kind of guy that gets this shit done. You know what I'm saying? If I had to do what my wife does every day, if I had to do that tomorrow, out of the blue, on top of the fact that I work 70 hours a week easily, it would be a lot. It would feel incredibly taxing and demanding, especially as I have to now account for the work that I'm either going to have to double up on other days or just miss completely and hurt our business and our pockets so that I can, for whatever reason, you know, let's say she's sick, have to take over and do her job for a day. Okay, right. But let's say my wife really was out of the picture, right? God forbid, heavens forbid. I promise you, my children will be fine. They will be fine. I'm going to make sure of that. No questions asked. They'll be fine.
That's weird, guys. I was up 7 times, God forbid.
I would wake up at 2 in the morning. I would start waking up at 2 in the morning, work from 2 to 7. So it'd be 5 hours. My children wake up around 7. I take care of my kids all day. They go to bed by 7. I'd go to bed at the same time. We'd fall asleep by 9. I'd be asleep by 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 hours of sleep. I do that every day. And then, you know, if I can coordinate to have some help, then I'll have some help. But that would be my first go-to. I wouldn't miss a fucking beat. Still dropping 3 videos a day. All three of my kids will be fucking taken care of every day. That's a man for you.
Once again, tell me that your wife did all the wake ups at night with your infant without telling me. It's also like, what do you want her to do?
My wife did do almost all of them by herself. Definitely with our 3rd kid, I didn't get up a single time. You know, my wife's truly amazing. But with the 1st kid, I had to help quite a lot. I remember walking my daughter in the hallway for hours at a time. You know, I give her a bath, try to calm her down, walking her, she can't sleep. You know, she has, what do they call it again? Is it gripe or, you know, colic? Yeah, colic, right? Crying her ass off. Wife is tired. 1 kid. No other kid in the house. But like I said, you know what I'm saying? This is a stamina thing. You build it up over time.
Do about it? Like, this all seems like this very like extended guilt trip. You know what I mean? He's kind of telling her, I need to make sure that you're aware of all of my sacrifices that I made to babysit the kids. It's like this vague, like, who the fuck, you're their father.
Okay.
Who cares how many times you were up? Why are you burdening your wife with this while she's out and about, just, you know, trying?
Again, she seems to be the one triple texting here, not him. Something tells me he's just responding to questions that she's asking. Fortunately, we don't know because there's no more context. But it doesn't seem like he's the one pestering her all day. Looks like she's texting him multiple times in a row without a response. He responds with quick little one-liners. Okay, maybe she asked him, did he get up last night? He responds, I was up 7 times, LOL. And notice how every time he does actually say, oh, we die without you, ha ha, I was up 7 times, LOL. He's saying that to not guilt her, to say, yeah, that shit was ass, but fuck, I guess this is how this shit go, right? And then maybe in the other text messages we would see, wow, baby, you truly are amazing. Thank you. I really do appreciate you. You know, I tell my wife I appreciate how well she takes care of the kids often. I won't say every day. I don't do it every day, but pretty often. And she would admit that, because it's not easy what women do. I'm not saying it's easy what women do at all. But yeah, this woman, she's just wrong.
Trying to do something for herself or by herself, trying to run an errand. Like, we don't even know what this woman was doing. And chances are this all happened in the span of like 5 to 6 hours. This is why.
What? You think I was up 7 times and George won't nap and it's all day has been chaos is 5 to 7 hours? I think this text message log probably took place over the course of 2 to 3 days. That's what I would guess, right? An overnight at the very least. I think I was up 7 times. I think she left in the morning. He took care of the kids all day. He put them to bed and got up and started taking care of the kids again that day. And she's either going to be back that afternoon or the next day.
The women's strike in Iceland was over in 12 hours flat, and they got basically everything that they asked for when they just left the kids at home and like went on a strike. Supermarkets sold out of like frozen dinners and hot dogs and candies.
What do you think would happen if all the men in the country went on a strike? This is why our enemy is not each other. Our enemy is capitalism, unregulated capitalism. We need to unionize. It would be very easy for us as a population to control how much money you make, garbage man, you make, Mr. Plumber, you make, Miss Customer Service Representative at some Fortune 500 company. It would be very easy for us to dictate how much money we made if we all came together and just said, we're not going to work. And this is why these fucking billionaires, these evil billionaires, are constantly trying to prevent unions from forming, because when unions form, they serve as an organizing system, gets everybody on the same page, makes us all feel united. It's very hard for a bunch of individuals to come together and agree that we're going to strike, but a union makes it very easy. There's leadership. Everyone gets on the same page. It's easier to hold fast and get the job done. But anyway, point is, yeah, I'm not surprised that within 12 hours of women striking, they got whatever they wanted from their employers, because women typically make up about 50% of the workforce. That's a lot of people. Well, same thing would happen if men went on strikes. But unlike women, men also typically work in industries that are critical for the maintenance of the infrastructure that keeps everything going, right? Men's don't go to work. Your traffic lights stop working. Your electricity gets shut off. The water stops running. By the end of the week, you're shitting in the woods. That's what would happen if all the men stopped working.
All that these men fucking know how to do, and they want women to just do it all thanklessly every single day without wanting any kind of recognition or anything in return for it. Like,
No, my wife gets plenty of recognition and plenty of my money, and so I think that's a reality for most men who have stay-at-home wives that take care of their kids. All right.
Stay-at-home moms should be demanding a salary, because this is how your husband is going to act the one time that he's expected to watch.
Yeah, they do have a salary. Ask my wife. I've never told her no when she asks for money. Truly. Never. If we have it, if it's within the budget, of course, I don't just you can't just spend frivolously. I don't spend frivolously. I spend a little more frivolously than her, to be honest. But, I'm saying, like, yeah, if we have a monthly budget to say this is how much money we have for spending money, I don't ever be like, oh, well, nah, I want that money for me. You know, and she's like, oh, I want to spend it on this. If it's still within the budget, she spends it. It's our money. You know what I'm saying? And to be fair, my wife has been incredibly conservative for the grand majority of our marriage. I would say it's just within the last few months that she's really starting to, like, you know, spend some of our money and like have nice things for herself. My wife has gone essentially the first 3.5 years of our marriage not asking for shit, honestly. Yeah, I got real lucky, man. I got real lucky with my wife, personally.
The children. We're not even done yet. This man then had the audacity to be like, when you get home, can I take a 3-hour nap? For what? Unless your wife goes down for a 3-hour nap every time you get home from work and you take over and you do everything for the kids and everything like that, then hell fucking no, you can't.
That's not the same. That's not the same, because he's still paying all the bills. You keep forgetting that. They didn't trade places. You're acting like he traded places with his wife. He didn't. He's still doing his job 100%. She's not paying more to bills this month because of this little deviation in their pattern. He's still doing 100% of his responsibilities, but for what appears to be about, give or take, 48 hours, he also did all of her responsibilities. So I don't think that it's so crazy that he's like, hey, when you get home. And the reason he's saying this, I'll tell you why he's saying this, because she's probably going to get home while all the kids are still up. And so he's basically bracing her to say, hey, I'm going to need you to kind of hit the ground running, right? I'm going to pass off the baton to you immediately. Don't think you get to come home and I'm also going to continue to do your job in unison with you, right? And I don't want to make it's not like, oh, these are your kids, you're taking care of your kids, it's your job. But like, I'm just saying, this is really, when you boil it all down, that's what it comes down to, right? It's like, this is your responsibility. This is what you signed up for. This is why, by the way, guys, fellas, I tell you, it is incredibly important that you make this shit crystal clear before you get this girl pregnant and before you put a ring on her finger. Make sure that there is a very, very clear understanding how responsibilities will be divvied up between you two. Make it clear. You don't have to subscribe to traditional gender roles. Just whatever it's going to be, make sure it's crystal clear. Those are your responsibilities, right? Doesn't mean that you can't ever help, right? You know, like my wife, it is her responsibility to keep the house clean. Yet, you know, I will help unload the dishwasher. I'll make the bed. I'll do a load of laundry. I'll vacuum the living room occasionally, randomly, if I feel inspired to do so. It's not an often thing. It's not an often occurrence, but it does happen. And it especially happens if I feel like my wife needs a little bit of help, right? If I see she needs a little bit of help, then I'll help her, right? So, yeah, be clear on how you guys are going to delegate responsibilities between you two.
And why would you just automatically be off duty when your wife gets home to the point where you can take a nap? Like, once again, if you read between the lines, you get to see the full story. And this is why I said this is a tee-hee ass post, because all this woman's gonna do is tee-hee about it and then get back in her yoke like a good little donkey, because all she did was just make an ass out of herself. You're doing a bunch of thankless labor for a man who is like, would never do that labor thanklessly and without wanting like recognition for it, reimbursement for it, his dick sucked, etc. And you don't get any of that. You just get to do all this shit thanklessly for room and board. And the chair.
I mean, you don't know this relationship. You know, you don't know at all this relationship. Room and board. Yeah. They probably live in a very nice house. It looks like they live in a very nice house. That's a pretty good room and board setup.
On top, like he's already planning his little spa day. When you get home, I may lay in bed and watch football and eat Cheetos. Perfect day for it. So when you get home, I'm going to completely check out. You can take care of the kids. You need to get back to your workstation so that I can collect my rightful reward for dealing with my own children for a few hours. So you acknowledge that this is really hard work. You acknowledge that this is work that needs decompressing from. This is the type of work that you feel like you need a 3-hour nap after. This is the type of work that you want to lay in bed and watch football and eat Cheetos all day after. But when women are doing this work, it's called staying home and playing with the kids. It's just called being a
Again, this is something you build up a stamina for, though. This takes conditioning. Yeah, it makes perfect sense for a guy who's taking care of all the bills by himself, taking care of the household, doing all of the duties that he has to do as a man, making sure everything keeps working and everything keeps getting paid and the lights stay on. Then he had to do her job for what seems like 2 days straight on top of all of that with no conditioning. I promise you, yeah. You know, my job doing this YouTube shit, it takes all day. I start working. This morning I started working at about 6 a.m. It's now 4:51 p.m. The only breaks that I've taken were to shower, shit, and eat. Otherwise, I've been here all day. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to exercise so that I could get my exercising in the day so that I could work from 6 to what will more than likely be at least 6 or 7. So that's a 12-hour work day, you know? By the end of the day, guess what? I don't feel like I need to decompress. But I'm sure if my wife had to do what I do all day, unexpectedly, she'd probably feel very tired at the end of the day. And so, yeah, especially if she had to also do her responsibilities on top of that. Well, that would actually be impossible. It would be impossible for anybody to do my job and take care of kids all day, which says a lot. It does say a lot about the fact that a lot of women in these positions can take care of the kids all day and do a part-time job. It would literally be impossible for me to do it. The kids would be crying and, you know, trying to be in the video. They're constantly trying to get your attention while I have to listen to the words that are being said as I'm editing the video. They're parts of the workflow that I actually do let my kids in my office while I work because it doesn't require my full attention. But much of what I do requires undivided attention as well as a quiet environment. But that's not special because I'm a man. There are plenty of jobs that women do. Like a woman can't be a nurse. You can't go to work as a nurse all day, do a 12-hour shift and watch 3 kids at the same time. It's not possible. It's just not. The reason why you don't need 3 hours to decompress every day after watching your 2 kids, like this woman here, is because she's worked up the stamina. She went from having 1 newborn infant to 2 toddlers. And it was a daily workout routine. It's a daily routine. You get used to it. Yeah. You know, I used to work in construction, do 10-hour, 12-hour shifts, back breaking labor. But you get used to it. You know what I'm saying?
Stay-at-home mom doing your womanly duties, you know? But when men do it, it's this like odyssey, it's this accomplishment, it's this like achievement. Like, why are they so fucking annoying and so devoid of empathy and so devoid of actual leadership traits and so devoid of responsibility and so devoid of good faith cooperation with women or children? Yeah, I don't know. This is just why you should never have kids with or for a man. We say this all the time on the podcast.
Wow.
Mama's baby, dad.
And here we go.
Daddy's
That right there will tell you everything you need to know.
Right? Dads always have the opt entirely out option. As a woman, you never have that. And once again, let me remind you that
again, are you paying all the bills? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It seems like she did have that option. She opted out of her responsibilities to go and do whatever the fuck she did for 2 days straight. She literally got to do something her husband will never be able to do. She got to just abandon all of her responsibilities completely for 2 whole days, it would seem like. Men, even if a man never spends a single day watching his kids, if he is the sole breadwinner of the house, he doesn't get that opportunity. He has to every day do what he needs to do in order to secure, you know what I'm saying, the funding, taking care of shit. And I'm sure on his days off, he plays with his kids. He goes out, he does things with his family. He takes them out to restaurants, you know. Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure on his off days, he's not in his room all day playing video games, or it's just like, see ya, gone all day hanging out with his friends like he used to do in college, in high school. We still want to do that shit, by the way, when we get older and we get married. We just don't, because we want to be with our family. We want to, you know what I'm saying? That's just the nature of a man. Not only do we take care of everything, but on our days off, we then say, let me spend that time with my family. You know what I'm saying? Let me spend that time with my family. You know, if I work all day, I get up and I start working at 6, and let's say on that day I happen to be done at like 5 or 6 p.m. My kids go to bed at 7. You know what I do? I don't just, you know, do me. I don't say, oh, it's kind of early. Maybe let me hit up the guys and go hoop. I then go and try and make that last hour to 2 hours of my wife's day watching the kids easier on her by staying with the kids, you know, and giving her some backup, some support. Now I'm playing with the kids and all that. And yeah. That's another thing too. Women, when it comes to raising children, women are marathon runners. Men are sprinters. And this is normal. If you don't run every day, if I tell you to go and run a mile tomorrow, you're probably going to try and run it too fast. You're going to run it too fast and then gas out. Whereas somebody who runs every day, they know how to pace themselves. This is something me and my wife actually recently spoke about. Last time I actually had to help take care of the kids for a significant amount of time because she had to go do something. It was less than a day, but still. And I used to observe my wife dealing with the kids all day. And for a lot of the time, she's just sitting there observing. You know, she's paying attention. She's interacting. She's not all over the place. She's not moving around too much. You know, of course, she has to clean and cook and change diapers and all that. But but when I take over and I try watching the kids, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's play. Let's this. Let's da-da-da-da. Can't sustain that for 10 hours. You can't. And so that's another reason why dads, when they're normally taking care of the house and the funding and everything and taking care of everything, right? When they do out of nowhere have to watch the kids, that's another reason why at the end of the day they're exhausted, because they're operating at a level that is unsustainable long term. It's not. You can't be that, all right, what are we going to do? Let's go play. Let's go jump up and down. Let's go. Oh, we're playing all kinds of games. This is why kids love dads, right? Why when daddy comes home, it's daddy, daddy, daddy. Why? Because daddy is the fucking amusement park. Daddy is the amusement park. And so that also accounts for the difference in how tired a man is at the end of the day when he has to watch his kids. Now, of course, if he had to watch his kids every day, he would learn how to pace himself like his wife. You know what I'm saying? But My kids don't ask my wife for swing. My kids just run up to me and be like, swing, swing, swing. Which is me holding my kids one in each arm and swinging them around for minutes at a time. It's a whole fucking workout. You know? But yeah, that's what this video was. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below, man. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.